The Hartford Symphony Guild is planning its annual dinner dance. The dinner dance committee has assembled the following expected cost to the event, and you see them right in here. $18 per person for dinner, favors and a program, $2. The band is $2,800, rental of the ballroom, $900, professional entertainment, $1,000, and tickets and advertising, $1,300. Okay, now the committee would like to charge $35 per person for the evening's activities. Requirement 1 says, compute the break-even point for the dinner dance in terms of the number of persons who must attend. Okay, now you see the approach to tackling part 1. The contribution margin per person would be the $35 purchase price less the variable expenses. And the variable expenses would be the dinner, which is $18 per person, or per ticket, right? Favors in a program, $2 per person or per ticket. So the contribution margin per person is $15. The fixed expense of the dinner dance comes out to be $6,000. And that represents the other costs. The break-even point is then profit would be equal to unit contribution margin times the quantity minus fixed cost. So where profit is equal to 0, we're just working this out now here, where profit is equal to 0, the 35 price per ticket minus the 20 variable cost comes up with a unit contribution of $15 times some quantity minus 6,000. We just rearrange the terms and solve for Q, and what we have is 400 persons. And at $35 per person, 400 times 35, we have 14,000 in break-even. Now the other way to solve this is using the unit sales to break-even formula, where we just take the fixed expense and divide it by unit contribution margin. So 6,000 divided by the $15 contribution margin comes out to be 400 persons. Multiply that times $35 and you come up with 14,000 as the answer to part 1, which is the break-even per person. Next we'll read requirement 2, which is this area in here. Assume the last year only 300 persons attended the dinner dance. If the same number attend this year, what price per ticket must be charged in order to break even? Okay, and now you see the solution to part 2. First we determine the variable cost per person, which was the $18 dinner plus the $2 favor, $20. The fixed cost per person, if we break that down on a per person basis, it comes out to be $20 per person. So in order to break even, we need to add the variable cost per person, the 20, to the fixed cost and come up with a total cost of $40 per person to break even. And then finally, requirement 3 says prepare a CVP graph or a profit graph for the dinner dance from 0 tickets up to 600 tickets sold. I'll show you that graph now. Okay, so now you see the graph on the screen, and what you have is the total sales line starts at the intercept and slopes upward. Total expenses start at the fixed cost point, right? Fixed costs don't change, but then we've got a variable component that is going to rise, and eventually total sales, total expenses will meet. That's the break-even point, or 400 persons, 14,000. This area in here represents profit. This area in here represents loss.